shit, this is actually working well. I'm sorry, I am just amazed because I just downloaded OBS and it's working well. The actual Elgato program that came with my, or not that came, but that should be work well with my capture card just fucking sucks and doesn't work at all. So I'm excited because this is working well so far. Alright, so hey, it's Misogi, me again. I've recorded 2 videos already. Hopefully I can make this one not very long. Or as long as the other ones, I'll try and get through my analysis pretty quick this time. But I'm here coming with a kind of reaction analysis video for those of you out there about the most recent reveal trailer for Johnny Cage. Really good shit. But yeah, if you like the video, like it. If you think I missed anything or kind of thought of something in the wrong way, please comment it down below and I'll be sure to check it out. And hopefully maybe address it in some other video, or I don't know, comment it back, and thank you for your input because I always enjoy learning new things. And aside from that, if you want more, feel free to subscribe, and that will make me happy, and hopefully it'll make you happy too. So yeah, without that, let's get straight into the fucking trailer. Hopefully you guys can hear my voice okay, and the YouTube isn't too fucking loud.
I know studio execs tougher than you.
No suit's gonna slit your throat.
Have you been to Hollywood?
Okay, so first of all, I'm already noticing that my thing is lagging like a motherfucker. Yep. Let me just grab this. Okay. It's not too bad. Okay. So. Good. So I apologize for that. So let's go back to the fucking start. The only problem with doing it on my Xbox
I
is
know
that
studio
I don't get as
execs
much,
tougher than you.
No suit's gonna slit your throat.
So, real quick here, I dig the new look. The black hair, there's not really a whole lot of gray, if any gray at all, honestly. From this angle, it looks like there's a little bit of gray in his hair, but whatever. But we don't have no more Grandpa Johnny Cage. Thank fucking God. Everyone should be rejoicing. Fuck Grandpa Johnny Cage. Another thing is his design looks a lot fucking better. Also, his intro dialogue with Cabal was really good. Like, if you can already tell just from that first thing of dialogue that he's gonna be like way cockier. He's gonna be way more Johnny Cage than he was in the last game. In the last game, he was a bit, in my opinion, I would say like washed up, kind of. But in this one, like this is him in his full glory. So that part is great. But yeah, I'm digging the new look, digging the new design, and they have the same voice actor, so that's all well and good. And just everything, like, I just feel like they truly went out with this character as opposed to MK11 Johnny Cage, or MKX Johnny Cage. That was not good.
You been to Hollywood?
So first off, that first string there was a really good mid. Let me see if I can catch that.
No suit's gonna slit your throat.
Have you been to Hollywood?
Let's see here. There we go. So that was a high. I'm pretty sure it was a high anyways. And I guess that makes it interesting because, well, not really interesting. So you can kind of duck that on it, but if you are standing or you're trying to get in, that's a really good range. And I believe it was also slightly advancing as well. Which that'll be a kind of common theme. It seems that Johnny Cage has a lot of pretty good reach and quite a lot of advancing normals. So that's some good stuff right there. And it also has good range, by the way, in the sense that it seems to be a good start of the round normal, especially if they try and jump and do a jump normal or something like that. That kick will probably cancel a lot of that stuff out. So it seems, at least from start of round range, he seems to do pretty good in. Now that was a problem with that, is the first kick was pretty good as it went like, oh my god, it goes all the way back.
Have you been to Hollywood?
How long does this freaking, usually it only does it 5 seconds, but Jesus Christ, yeah, so that one kick, was that fucking low calf kick. I'm assuming that was a low, and it seems he kind of runs in a little bit, so it's almost reminiscent of Kotal Khan's forward Y or forward B, except it seems that it hits low, and it does seem special cancelable. But the second hit, when he does the kind of jump kick to the face, it sends you full screen, and I don't see why you would ever use that combo aside from just using it. Perhaps maybe in the corner it combos, but other than that, mid-screen it seems like a really bad string, and there's actually quite a lot of strings that we'll get around to that just seem to launch his opponent full screen, which is not where Johnny Cage wants his opponents to be at all. He wants them up close, up close and personal, where he can get in his pressure, his mix-ups if he has any. I'm not sure. I haven't seen any overheads. I've seen one low, or like a few lows, but I don't know about overheads. But he wants them up close and personal, and he wants them so he can put that juicy pressure that he's always had throughout the Mortal Kombat games. Although I think many people would say that his MK9 pressure was way better. So here's one of the interesting things we're coming up on. There's that, and I believe, let's see here. Yeah, you can only go through 10 seconds of those.
Fight!
I really wish they had changed that response. Okay, right there. So, the double flash kick, or the double, not flash kick is a straight one. So the double flip kick, that one is interesting because I'm almost positive that is a gear move, or a loadout ability, I'm sorry. And this one's interesting because it seems that the recovery, see if you see, he's landing right now, and Cabal's still pretty high up in the air, so theoretically, if you're in the corner and you do that move, you should be able to combo off of it. If anything, maybe you have to do a down one and then do a string into combo it, which not many, or many of you guys, at least who played Johnny Cage, especially in MKX, should be comfortable with, considering his general bread and butter. You had to use a down one in order to actually chain together the combos properly. So that's really interesting, and it's a really good anti-air, obviously. But I'm pretty sure if you do that on block, it's probably one of the most punishable things you can do. However, there is one thing that's interesting, which we'll get to, is if you just have the regular flip kick, which that kind of has a different property. But aside from in the corner getting some combo damage off of this, doing this in general, I guess, would just be good for damage, but it's not super great because I'm not sure how much time you get to run up on them. But considering how far it launches them away, again, it's one of those things where it's like, doing it has really high risk, because, or not really high risk, but it's just like, it's not where you want them to be. You don't want them to be full screen, especially since there's no run mechanic in this game. So for Johnny Cage, you don't want them to be full screen. But he does have one other move that kind of replaces that aspect, I guess you could say. So straight force balls, that's huge. Because because the force balls that you see later on in the trailer are actually pretty fucking awful. So this is his only decent projectile I've seen. As you see, they're way smaller in terms of hitbox, but I believe in speed they're way faster. So they're about the same, I'd say, as either Baraka's Sparks or Sonya's Energy Ring. So let's see here, and of course, if you enhance him, he throws two. One thing that so let's see. This is definitely going to be a loadout move, or like a loadout move or a gear ability or whatever you want to call it. Something that you have to like. This is not going to be a universal move. His straight force balls, but something that I was trying to figure out that you can't find out in trailers yet. Maybe they'll talk about it later on in the Combat Cast. Is one of Johnny Cage's main pressure tools throughout the years in MKX and in MK9. Was his meter burn force ball, and he would either throw a arcing one and then shoot a straight one, but I'm pretty sure in MKX it was at least safe, if not plus, and in MK9 it was definitely plus, and that's how he got a lot of his chip and pressure down, is through using his meter to meter burn his force balls to keep himself safe, and to keep pressure on. So the problem with that, though, is that almost every single projectile on hit is very negative. I believe Sonic Fox and Tweety, when they were playing, Tweety was playing Baraka, Sonic Fox was playing Sonya Blade. I believe they said if you meter burn the projectile, it's somewhere around like negative 20 on block, which is terrible. No one like that's a Kotal Khan forward Y in MKX, which Kotal Khan, if he does like, that's basically leads to at least 36% meterless if you do the forward Ys properly, which is a nightmare. So doing that up close, if this is like a standard projectile that's following the same kind of mold as all the other ones, this could be really bad. I don't see why you would want this aside from full screen zoning and just having a better projectile, because if this is negative on block like the other ones, then it's going to be really bad. And it's actually going to be very uncomfortable, because I think a lot of Johnny Cage players are actually very comfortable and very used to being plus on block after meter burning the force balls. So we'll see what happens with those. Full grab. That one. So actually, I'll just get to it. So that was definitely a low, and you saw it was kind of advancing a little bit. So as this happens, I'll talk about rising elbow. That rising elbow, if you meter burn it, leads into a ground splat. That leads them to about where they are. So actually, that's good for two things, because not only is it really good anti-air, just like I think it has a bit higher of a hitbox, but also when they fall, they're left right in front of you, which is exactly where you want them to be as Johnny Cage. Whereas if you do flip kick, then they're going to be falling away, and that's obviously where you don't want them to be, because Johnny Cage has no long range or zoning at all, especially if you don't have the straight force balls, because the zoning is quite fucking awful. Let's see here, so, and then he goes into the low string. I'm almost positive that all three hits of these are lows, so that's good, is that he has dedicated lows, because he did not have a dedicated low in MKX. So that was one of his major issues, in my opinion, was that he has a really good overhead with his forward Y, I believe, which also just happens to lead into his bread and butter, but his low, he had like 0 low options. His only low that was really good was his down 3, but you can't really combo that into anything. The only low that he could combo into was his XXA, but if he does XX, then you automatically block low, because there's no overhead ender to that, and there's no special move that ends in an overhead either. So the only thing you need to really watch out for is just a lower grab at that point. So yeah, that's really good that he has a low starter. He has several low starters, it seems, actually. So he actually might have more lows than overheads, and that seems to be kind of like what's it call it? Kind of seems to be a theme. That's what I'm going for. A theme among characters is they either have a lot of overheads but little to no lows, or they have a lot of lows but little to no overheads. There's some characters who are kind of in between, but it seems Johnny Cage is very low, mid, and high centered, and very kick centric as well. I've only seen him use his fists like once in this entire trailer, which is pretty interesting. Interesting in terms of strings, but so just going back on that string real quick, notice where Baraka is. He's full screen again. That's not where Johnny Cage wants you to be. That string might combo in the corner, but as far as mid screen goes, unless you just want to finish them off, you might as well just special cancel that ability, because there's no point in having them full screen. It's not a good thing to have, especially as Shadow Kick. That is the sickest fucking move, at least sickest fucking parry I've seen in a very long time. So, obviously, as you saw, he was doing that Ninja Mime thing. Also, I love that they're bringing Ninja Mime into his actual moveset. Considering how ridiculous that is and how potentially powerful it could be, I'm thinking that that is a loadout move. So the interesting thing about the crushing blow is I'm not sure how it connects. I'm not sure if you have to connect 3 and then like the third one crushing blows or the fourth one crushing blows, or maybe I'm thinking it could be like a held parry. Either it's infinite like Cabal's parry, or it's just a really long lasting parry, and after a certain amount of time, if they hit you, then you get the crushing blow. And normally, if that was the case, I would think, who's going to go into a parry deliberately after 2 seconds? Like, by that time, they should know that you're doing the parry, and hopefully they're not that fucking stupid. But when I think about it, the only case that this would work in is if you're doing a combo in the corner, for example, and instead of ending it with a special move, you end it with your parry. So you start doing your parry, kind of charging it up in a way. But let's say they're smashing or they're spamming like up A or up Y, the wake up attacks. By that time, I'm not sure if it parries wake up attacks or not, but if it does, then that means I'm just going to assume that that crushing blow will hit for at least 30 or 40%. So let's say you do a combo for 20% of their health. If you end it with that parry and you get that crushing blow, that's like at least 50 to 60% of their health, maybe even 70% of the health gone off of off of just one engagement. Like that's basically a free win because of one parry. So that could be super. So that could meet some very interesting like situation for making hard reads and shit like that. So that move is very interesting, but I'm not sure how viable it'll be in tournament play. Because Cabal's parry, he gets a free combo off of. But for like Jade and Johnny Cage, they just get damage. Which I mean is good, but is it really worth taking a loadout slot for? I don't know. I don't really think so. So as you saw there, he enhanced his flip kick, but didn't do a second hit. I think the enhanced flip kick is like Cabal's air saw blade, where he has increased recovery. So like if you jump in the air and do Cabal's downward saw blade in the air, if you enhance it, then he recovers from it very quickly and makes it safe. And I think that's what Johnny Cage does. Which makes it really interesting because actually, rather than using the force balls for his pressure, he might actually need to enhance his flip kick in order to do his pressure now. Because if he recovers fast enough that it's not only safe but plus on block, and it doesn't push them far enough away to the point where he can actually continue his pressure, the flip kick might actually be his go-to pressure tool now, which is kind of an interesting thing to think of in a way. And I think it'll also be his go-to combo thing as well, because if you kick them in the air and you recover fast enough to combo them, then hey man, that's a combo. So I'm thinking flip kick will be his main combo starter, because I don't think you can meter burn or enhance nut punch, or even if you do, I think it'll just be extra damage. So here he finally uses his fist and beats the shit out of you. Let's see here. So the fisticuffs buff, I'm thinking it'll just be a raw damage buff, and the reason why I say this is because after he does that jump in, which that jump in, by the way, was pretty okay. It seems cool at the beginning, like it seems good, but yeah, so it has good range, has good vertical range, but his entire body is just kind of open there. So if you're crouching, that's almost like a free uppercut or free anti-air ability. He has a bigger hurt box than he does hitbox, and so yeah, I think it's an okay. But if the hitbox was any more turned vertically downward, if it was like diagonal, then it would be really good. But considering it's just a straight punch and you kind of have to fall into them for it to hit, I think it's okay. It has good range though. But as you'll see here, he does this actual punch combo. That last hit of that combo seemed to me to be a natural launcher. I'm not sure if it's only a natural launcher in fisticuffs mode or what. But, yeah. So that seems to be a natural launcher. So Johnny Cage might be one of the only people next to Sonya and Scarlett who can actually just do a natural meterless combo without having to spend any offensive meter. They can just do that combo and get into one. Because it seemed like the arc was high enough and he recovers fast enough that he can actually do something after it. Also, one other thing before, the fisticuffs buff is really slow recovery. So I don't think you can do like the forward 3 into fist bump for plus frames like you could in MK9. Or maybe it was forward 4, I don't know. But basically the knee into fist bump for plus frames. Yeah, I don't think you can do that anymore. And then also notice is that special move where he just beats the shit out of you. That's important because it's kind of like the Flash's lightning attack thing where he does that little, yeah, where he does that little flash of lightning and then beats the shit out of you in slow motion. I think it's going to be a lot like that one because it seems to be a really short range, like he punches you in the stomach and then just starts socking you in the face. By the way, if that's not a brutality, I'm going to be pissed off. And hopefully you can enhance it to just keep beating the shit out of him, kind of like what Baraka does with his Chop Chop. But yeah, so that definitely, and that kind of ties into why I think the Fisticuffs will just be a straight damage buff, is because normally in Fisticuffs and MKX, I believe, was chip damage buff. So when he would do his speed bag combo, he would just kind of pressure you out with that and do stagger strings of that. But you can't do that anymore because I don't think speed bag is a combo anymore. Rather, the speed bag is now a special ability, and I'm assuming on hit he'll just punch you once in the stomach and that'll be over, and it'll probably be minus on block and you can get punished. However, if you do that plus damage buff, if you confirm, if you special cancel into that speed bag special, it'll be a lot more fucking damage, the kind of damage we were used to getting back in Fisticuffs MKX. So I definitely think that the Fisticuffs buff is now just going to be a general buff to his damage rather than chip damage. But I might be wrong. We'll find out later in the day when the comes on. So, short hop attack, really good range off of that first hit, although I believe it was a high. And I'm pretty sure the second hit he punches you in the nuts, which is pretty funny. So really good range, but again, it was a high. It was a slightly advancing normal with the backhand, with the reverse backhand and shit. Right that. So it could be a really good anti-air. But the problem is that last hit, as you can see, launches them full fucking screen. And not where he wants them to be. I don't know why you would want them... I don't know why you'd want to use that combo. Just special cancel. This move. Fucking hilarious. I love it. By the way, since he's in classic Johnny Cage mode, we're gonna get classic Johnny Cage as a costume. Like if we don't get MK9 Johnny Cage as a costume, then they deserve to die. I mean, it's just as simple as that. But notice how he enhanced. So either one of two things: either the stunt double does an attack on normal, or on enhanced, then he goes in and holds you. But what I believe it is Garros has a move where he kind of shoots forward this really short-range projectile, and it freezes you in time. But in order to use that, he has to spend a bar. There is no normal move. He has to spend a bar in order to use that. And I think this is what that move is. He has to spend a bar in order to get that capture state. Although I do think this is a gear ability, a loadout ability. Notice how he didn't enhance the Nut Punch, going onto the Nut Punch anyways. So we don't know what Nut Punch does, whether Enhanced does more damage, launches like an MKX, or if Nut Punch even actually can be enhanced at all. But one cool thing is how the audio kind of blurs out and starts ringing. He punches you so hard in your nuts that your fucking hearing starts going out. Like, that's fucking hilarious. I love that fucking effect. Good round. Range. That camera move is really interesting. Johnny Cage now has two moves that lead them into a capture state, and not many characters do have any kind of combo-centric moves like these. And it seems that camera is going to be like a meterless restand, which is huge. It'll be kind of like Cabal's Nomad Dash, because Scorpion, in order to get his main combo damage, he has to enhance either his teleport or his spear. But Johnny Cage, for once, actually has a meterless restand, which is really weird. But hey, man, it's hilarious. He snaps your ass with a camera. I love it. Definitely a gear ability. That's what I'm thinking. Anyways. Interactable. Shadow kick again. Okay, that move is useless. It's hilarious. I love the fact that he throws his sunglasses at you as a projectile, but that move is fucking useless. Don't use it, please. And there you go. That enhanced rising elbow. He does a flip kick when enhanced, and it ground splats them for a hard knockdown directly in front of you. So whereas with the flip kick you get you probably get more combo damage and combo potential, but with the rising elbow you get a better anti-air and you get them directly in front of you, so you don't have to run full screen. Good trade. Cool normal stream. And as you saw, that fucking projectile was pretty fucking bad. Both his normal and high force ball seemed to be really good at anti-airs, but it looked to me that if you were standing in the middle of the screen when he threw that projectile, it seemed like it would actually go over your head without you having to even duck. I might be wrong, I'm just assuming that it hits high, so I would assume that it hit you regardless of where you're standing. But to me it actually looked like they were high enough that it'd go over your head, which if that's the case, then that is one of the worst projectiles in the entire game. And also, notice, there you go, when he does his force balls, he throws two in the same arc, rather than one straight, like he used to in MK9 and MKX. And then there's one thing I want to get to real quick. When he charges up his why? I don't see the point. Who's still it looks like Jack's in the back, but also just looks like some fat girl. So the problem with this super is that it takes super long to actually do the hit. Sonya's, Baraka's, Raiden's, Garrus's is full screen, Scarlet's, almost every single person's fatal blow has just been a really quick hit that's super easy to confirm into or just kind of punish someone. Why is Johnny Cage's so fucking slow? I have no idea. Either one, it's a chargeable move, and that means that his chargeable normals, combos, and specials are coming back from A-list variation, and he can charge his X-ray. He can either charge it to bait out shit, or he can charge it to make it unblockable. That would be really interesting. Or what it is it's just an extended parry that leads into a hit. So like for that duration while he's charging up, it's considered a parry. And if they hit you, then you'll just hit them and do the damage. Or and eventually if you just let it flow, then eventually he'll just attack himself. So it's kind of a parry into a hit. The last option would be that it just has super armor on all frames. It's one of the only fatal blows that has super armor on startup. Because from what I heard from most of the pro players who played the game, super armor is kind of non-existent, and that like it only really starts up 4 frames into the actual move or something like that. So if this is one of the only fatal blows that actually has frame 1 super armor or frame 0 super armor, then that would also make sense. But if not, this move is just way too easy to jump over, way too easy to punish, way too easy to just react to. I don't like it if there's nothing special to it. But it's pretty fucking sick. And reward goes to I fucking love it. And his fucking fatality is sick. Probably the best one so far.
Cut. Reset.
Deadly uppercut, take 2.
Action.
Who hired this guy? What the fuck? Deadly uppercut, take 19.
Like, dude. Fatality. Alright, so spoiler alert, Cabal's face is fucking disgusting, especially in Revenant form. But I love this fucking fatality. Oh, and look, he's flicking the fucking... I didn't know that he was flicking the head off, too. That's fucking hilarious. This is the best fatality that they've released so far. Maybe not the most gruesome, but it is absolutely fucking hilarious. This is some shit Cassie Cage would do in MKX, and I hated it because Johnny Cage is the OG. He is the original. He should be doing this shit. Cassie Cage can go fuck herself. I don't know why they let her do all the funny shit when Johnny Cage is not doing nearly as funny shit when he's been in the game since literally MK1. Come on. But I don't really need to say much about this. Although I do have to say, Steve, I believe his name is Steve, one of the black dudes off of Maximilian's group, the Yo Video Games, he was complaining how the MK9 Johnny Cage's fatality doesn't have the original like triple uppercut with the head. There you fucking go. You want your MK3 or MK2 fatality where he uppercuts your head 3 times? There you fucking go. He did it. although this time it actually makes sense. And I love the fact how the last one is take 19. This motherfucker uppercutted you 19 times in a row. Like, you could see his fucking jaw was off. Like, his throat was fucking torn out. Like, I love this fatality. I can't fucking gush over it enough. I really wish I recorded my initial reactions, because I was dying when I saw this, but whatever. I'm kind of going off on a tangent. This video is long enough as it is. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully...
Johnny Cage
and I...
wins.
Look at this fucking end pose. Like... Oh my god, dude, I'm so excited for this game. I can't fucking wait, dude. Like, I'm so happy they made Johnny Cage actually, like, I'm excited to learn more about Johnny Cage and just kind of see him in action. In MK10, I hated him. He was so boring, he looked awful. They're just like, I didn't care about Johnny Cage at all, but in this game, I can't wait to see more. And if they've nailed his personality so much in this game so far, like, for Johnny Cage, they mentioned that they did a really good job with Kano, so I am stoked for Kano. I cannot fucking wait. But yeah, so I guess that'll be it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed my kind of thoughts and my insight, please leave a like or a comment in the description, or maybe something that I missed that I kind of went over or didn't go over enough, or maybe how to improve my video aside from maybe doing it on the computer somehow, because I know this Xbox shit is bootleg as fuck. But aside from that, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. I will see you soon, because I'll probably be making a video on the Combat Cast, so look forward to that. Thank you so much, and yeah, see you later.